So this is the Åkern-tall, the acre pine, and it's huge, more than 1 meter in diameter. And the oldest pine here, though, is a pine on Horslandet in Hälsingland, and that is 800 years old. So that's way older than even this one that is huge. And the reason that is so old is because it's a cold area. As you can imagine, we are in the north of Quebec, but we are in Sweden. So this is the Åkern-tall, the acre pine, and it's... Hello, the English speakers, and welcome to the story of the two old pines. So this is almost 1 meter in diameter, which means that it's about 300 years old. So this is standing here at Långgatan, the long street. So we'll discuss why I talk about pines, but we'll enlighten some blind spot. But let's start by taking a big deep breath and leaving the long street to enter the Milky Way, or Lilla Vintergatan, which is really funny in Swedish because it means the Milky Way. So the Milky Way is not a way in Swedish, it's a street. And this is the small one, so it's much longer than the big one. And it's not smaller in any way. But that's the funny stuff in Swedish. So this Pinus sylvestris, it's called a Scots pine in English. Here we just call it a pine, and we name all pines that are not Scots pines. So this is situated all over Eurasia, from Siberia to Scotland and Sweden and Spain. So there was an Englishman, he wrote a song about that they should protect the pines and the land that they want for themselves. And then he, of course, got sent to prison because UK is pure evil, and the ones who are supporting the government should be isolated, I think. But not all pines are great, and some of them are forced to become invaders. So from Canada, they planted a lot of pines in Palestine, and that was to cover up the Nakba genocide. So they destroyed the villages, murdered everyone, or had them flee, and then they planted pines that are not, these kind of pines are not native there, and they start to burn and they destroy, well, the land. So the pines, the genocidal pines, they got genocided also. So don't do that to pines or Palestinians in general, I would say. Maybe avoid doing colonoscopy, at least if you want to do it for screening your cancers. It doesn't help at all. It does cause a lot of damage and bleeding. So you do this painful, not nice thing at all, putting up tools up your ass, and then they might discover that you need a lot of very expensive cancer treatments that will not improve your life. And the same thing, of course, we can suspect with mammography. So you say that, yeah, we find the cancer early, and then we can actually protect you. There is no scientific evidence that this would have become cancers. There is no randomized controlled trials and early treatments. It's a nice little myth. It might be true, but there is no good evidence of it. So don't trust any kind of treatment for a problem that is not a problem yet, like vaccines or early cancer treatments. They might actually treat something that needs no treatment whatsoever. I found Richard Werner, the credit creation professor who discovered how banks create credits, and he's on Substack, so I can follow him despite getting deleted from X. Very much not okay, especially as they can't specify which rules I've been breaking with which posts. So Evelina Hane, she's an alternativ för Sverige. So that's the Swedish version of Alternative für Deutschland. It's a much smaller party, but she is a politician for that. And she got suspended for one post that was misunderstood by X. But she had a husband that has the eye, or she is actually followed by Elon Musk, and then they can fix the problems. I do not have anyone like that, and that means that anyone like me who is not an indirect friend of Elon Musk, we get deleted, we got stolen from, and this really sucks. And I hope that Evelina Hane, she is no longer on Facebook or YouTube. She is there, but she's not using it. So I can't really contact her. But she kind of owe the rest of us that have been illegally deleted and then stolen money from by X. This needs to be fixed. And by the way, I did got a similar treatment by X when I got locked out from my account because of one post, and I complained, and that was because I talked about my favorite tree, Populus nigra, and then they thought I was saying Populus nigra, and they didn't understand Latin. So that's the black poplar for you. But if you post about it on social media, they might think that you are saying something very different, maybe when you're just talking about trees that are only genocidal if they are planted by Jews in Palestine. Poor trees. Adelsohn, Miriam Adelsohn, the biggest donor of Trump and to the Republican Party in general, and of course she's promoting beings like suicidal Hillary Clinton. So that you can do, I guess. So Hillary Clinton was on Miriam Adelson's event, and she said that the reason why everyone hates Israel, it has, of course, nothing to do with Jewish behavior and Israeli behavior and how they are genocidal monsters, 60% of them. No, it has to do with all the AI-generated, totally false videos that are posted on social media. Yeah, that's how you get paid by Miriam Adelsohn. And yeah, so let's see if we can enlighten some blind spots about organizations. So these are not advice on how you should build an organization. That is something you have to do with trial and error. And first, this is the biggest Börsch I know of here in Ljusdal. We could have had a bigger one if the one on my father's garden would have survived. It was at least as big. First of all, if you build an organization without blackmail, which you should do, I think. I don't have any good arguments why. I just feel that we should have organizations that are not dependent on blackmail, not at least too much of it. Then you will have to accept that there will be treason and disloyalty in this organization because for various reasons, maybe because someone is blackmailed in your organization from another organization, or they are just criminals in some way and you didn't discover it. And maybe you have to accept some lie. So organizations are built on big lies and sacrifice, but if you do some simple rituals, and we have we have seen that the most efficient organizations, they are actually built on one simple mission, which is the truth that might be totally made up, but it's a simple one that you can easily explain to the people in the organization and their allies and even their enemies. And then you have simple rituals. But there are most organizations, and very much surviving organizations, like, for example, governments. They are filled with rituals, meetings, total bullshit. They do something that is totally not necessary. And then they have built up, climate and vaccinations and holy wars, etc. And a lot of things that are just not good for the organization, one can think. But they are still surviving because they focus on destroying other organizations. So that is just something that people might not notice why they are surviving. So I just noticed that. I talking about words now. Now, when you have built up your totally successful organization without using any blackmail, etc. Stress kills presence, anxiety kills calmness. I wrote, you can also say anxiety kills peace, and doubt kill faith. And you can read this backwards so that you get faith that kills doubt, and peace kills anxiety, and presence kills stress. But you can use other words. The original in English was a little bit different than my translated version of it. But imagine that you, for example, are a warrior, or you are doing something else very dangerous, and you think about that time when you were so stressed and got superhuman strength, and that saved your life. Then, of course, you don't think about stress as something bad, because you, needed that for that moment. And you can also think about paranoia. There are a lot of people who don't regret that they didn't have enough paranoia, because they are dead now. Like JFK, Stalin, Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, Caesar. And Hitler actually had enough paranoia to survive one murder attempt at least. But maybe it is a good thing to have faith in a false narrative also, as I just spoke about between the pine and the upcoming pine. What is true, though, that if you are obsessed with saving your frail ego, then you're a toxic person, and you're only useful to be placed in enemy territory, and there you can destroy as you do, as you are a toxic person, or as this toxic person is. So here you see the åkerntall. So the tall means pine in Swedish, and this is actually even bigger, so maybe 350 years old. So it's massive, and it's a nature memory, but you can't find it on the internet, strangely, even though they built a thing there, or a sign for it. And to teach you, if you have this amathia, that means that you are totally uneducatable, you believe in stupid stuff, you are very good for arguing for stupid stuff, and no facts whatsoever can change your mind unless the holy narrative changes, and then you change your mind, because you have amathia that you can't read about on Wikipedia. But if you want to have more amathia, read on Wikipedia. So here I will teach you about the Swedish forests. So in Sweden there are 4 forests, according to Wikipedia, which you totally trust. I mean, there might be an error, but I mean, it's correct. Kolmården, Tiveden, Tyleskog, it should be Tyleskogen, and Kilsbergen. So you might have watched this conspiracy theorist, Henrik Wallin, and he has been talking about the reeds forest. So that's a conspiracy theory. There is no evidence of that. If you go to Ryd municipality, it's located in the south of Sweden, and there you will find no forest like that. And the other forest he used to walk in, the Valla forest, Valla, vall. So this is a genitive part. Vall actually means a pasture. So you can't have a forest that means pasture. That's like naming a forest Ryd forest. Ryd also means a clearing. So that's stupid. Of course, that doesn't exist. And the taiga is actually mostly not in Sweden, so that's also fake news, and there are no peer-reviewed studies that talks about any other forest in Sweden, so don't trust these conspiracy theorists that are talking about these things. The taiga is when you have all these conifers from Canada to Sweden to Siberia. That's the taiga forest that you see all around us here at the end of the Milky Way. So that's how they do it when they want to smear anything else. No peer-reviewed studies. That's a tell for they are lying and they are suffering from amathia. John Mearsheimer, if you want to know anything about geopolitics, always listen to John Mearsheimer if you want to know the truth and you don't want to have amathia. He is right about everything, and I linked to a video where he also talks about how Alan Dershowitz was colluding together with Epstein that wanted to basically destroy John Mearsheimer because he was talking about the Jewish lobby in his paper 20 years ago. So that's a recommendation. He's also on Substack, this John Mearsheimer. Bombadil. If you have seen the Lord of the Rings movies, you might not know who he is, but he appeared in the book, not in the movie. So that's a very strange creature. So he is the oldest living thing in Middle-earth, according to Tolkien. And he walks around and he's very happy. He can ignore the ring. The ring's power have no effect on him whatsoever. And he just walks around and is very happy. And he is not influential for the rest of the story. But he was important for Tolkien. Bombadil was there to be the other side of doing things that is very important, to strive and to do and to take the fight. That is, of course, very important. But you also have to remember that there is sometimes it's time to just be, enjoy, and have a nice time. And if you also want to build muscles, or make people think that you have, I suggest that you get an abhancer. So you can see that meme on my Substack. And with that, have a nice time here from all the blue ensilage, getting sauerkraut to the hopefully Bovaer-free cows. Or they are Bovaer-free now in Sweden. Thank God.